Hello and welcome to Mystic Visions. This is a reading for Scorpio for the month of January 2021. And if you are not a Scorpio, please look on my channel to find the reading for your sign. So this is a general reading meant to apply more broadly across the entire month. And if you are looking for something more specific, please check out my daily readings. But in this reading, we'll be using my adaptation of the Celtic Cross, and I will explain the meaning of each card as I draw them. So please leave me a message in the comments if you have any questions or if you would like some clarification. And I would be happy to draw a few additional cards for anyone who has subscribed to the channel. So just ask me in the comments if that's something you're interested in. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin now with the reading for Scorpio. So this card represents the current situation, what's crossing you, what you're moving away from, what you're moving toward, the foundation of the situation. This is your crowning thoughts or your conscious mind. This is your advice card. This is your current environment, your fears. And this one is the overall message or overall outcome. Okay, so what we have for your current situation is this Empress. So Empress is a nurturing, a kind energy, wanting to develop something, grow something. A lot of times this is associated with pregnancy or raising children, that kind of thing. This is the divine feminine. This is a very loving energy, and she could be strict, she can be severe, she can be protective, but she's not that way to an excess. She's a fierce mother. I always kind of think of this family of cats that that hangs around my house out here, and the mother is just so fierce in defending those little kittens. It's really quite heartwarming. So this is a good, happy energy to have within you, driving you, and it generally has a good motivation behind it, and it's liable to work out well, honestly. So what's crossing you, though, here is this Six of Swords. So Six of Swords represents a difficult transition, but it's a necessary transition, and it's something that kind of is inevitable. It has to happen. So in the context of like a parent, this could be, your children have to grow up, and that's a painful thing, and it's kind of hard to let go, that kind of thing. But again, not all of you will be parents, so there is, just in a more general sense, there's this nurturing, and then there's a difficult transition that you're going through, something that's not easy. It's somewhat painful, but not in a way that's breaking you down, or in the long run it's usually seen as more of a good thing, but kind of ripping off a band-aid, it's not pleasant. So what you're moving away from is this Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is about, surrender and, meditation, relaxation, those types of things. So the Hanged Man realizes he comes across a situation where he doesn't really have the power to do anything. And so instead of struggling against that, fighting against the stream, he lets go and he allows the situation to be what it is. And this leads him to a sense of satisfaction, or a tremendous boost of energy, which makes him just feel so much better. And he's just kind of hanging out there, letting it be. And so you're moving away from this. And it could be that this is something that happened in the past, in the recent past, where you experienced this, you experienced the need to feel this release. But it could also be that you're traveling, you're kind of going away from that type of energy, and you're in a situation really more of needing to control things, or needing to be in the driver's seat a little bit more. What you're moving toward is the Strength card, and the Strength card is all about like inner willpower and having like this calm, cool exterior, Think about like Daniel in the lion's den, right? So Daniel gets thrown into the lion's den, but he doesn't get afraid. He stays completely rock solid and calm. And the lions aren't scared, or they kind of are soothed by that presence, by that feeling, and so they don't eat him, and they really just like start to love him. They enjoy his presence. And Strength card likewise usually has like a delicate little lady who has her arms around a lion, and she is not at all afraid. She's not shaken by this situation. She is willing to create a safe space for that lion to express himself, and because of that, the lion comes to her and respects her. So this is to say, she can't control that lion. She can't whip that lion into shape. She could try, but the lion's probably just going to eat her and then run away. So the way to handle the situation is to have the willpower and the faith to put on this solid, steady face and to create a safe space for the lion to express himself. So this is what you're moving toward. You're getting, you're going a little bit away from, feeling like you're powerless to do anything or not doing anything, and you're moving toward there is something that you can do, and what you can do is be accepting. And that's kind of a paradox to some people, because at first you think, well, what I can do is control the situation. But you can't control the situation. What you can do is accept what's going on and adjust the way that you're reacting to it, right? So the foundation of the situation is kind of like this thing going on in the subconscious that leads to this whole lesson that's being learned. What is exactly the purpose of this situation? What are you learning? And this is the Lovers in the reverse. Okay, so this is about choice. It's really about choice, and you've been a little bit hesitant to make a choice. So you may feel as though your reactions and your feelings about a current situation are what they are, right? You don't control those feelings, they control you. Or maybe not to that extreme, but you just kind of feel like you couldn't feel any other way. There is just a way to react to these things, and that's how you feel. So what this is saying is it's not that simple. Somebody does you wrong, you don't have to feel angry or like you want revenge. That is, at least some level, that is a choice that you've made. You've made a choice to feel that way. And it doesn't always seem that way because we condition ourselves and we have this idea of our own personality or ego. And that kind of leads you to feel that there is a particular way that, like me, DrShiny, right? There's a particular way DrShiny would deal with this situation, or he would react in a certain way. And if you realize that that's somewhat of an illusion and it's not really there, it's just an idea, then you have a choice in how you want to react to things. And you can take a step back in that little space that's created and to essentially decide how you're going to react to things. And by doing that, you can somewhat change the outcome because, again, you can't always help what happens to you, but you can help how you react to it. And how you react to it makes all the difference in the world between whether you're going to be broken down by something or you're going to use it to your advantage. Use the negative things that happen and find an advantage in that situation. Find the positive, right? So what's on your mind is Temperance in the reverse. So this is, Temperance is about making something stronger through struggle, through reactions. When you temper a sword, you are heating it up really hot and banging it with a hammer until it gets harder and stronger, right? Now, in the reverse, there's this resistance to this. So there is a feeling like these negative feelings or these hardships or these difficult things that you're going through are just not a good thing, and you don't want to experience them. But that is not serving you, because what's going on here is you can change your outlook. You can change the way that you view stress. It's not something breaking you down. It's giving you an opportunity to excel. It's giving you an opportunity to rise above. And even if the only thing you get out of the situation is a sense of satisfaction and a feeling that, like, I can do that, I am awesome, that is worth it. That is totally worth it. If you get nothing else but that feeling, it's all the difference in the world. 90% of everything in life is just confidence. Nobody knows what they're doing, right? Like, nobody knows what they're doing. But what people do is, if they can maintain that confident attitude, it's like the situation gradually matches up with the way that you feel. So it's like fake it till you make it, right? And that's the way that you learn. You're not going to learn if you're afraid to jump in and do the thing. So you have to be willing to just kind of go with it. And that's when you really start learning along the way through experience. But the thing is, how can you get experience if you're never willing to try? So the advice for you in the current situation, this goes along with this message very well. The King of Wands. The King of Wands is the king of doing, of action. Wands represent that sort of action, that doing. And this guy has mastered it. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't worry about how things are going to happen. He just makes a crack at it. He tries it. And when he makes a mistake, he doesn't sulk. He doesn't think it's a bad thing. On the contrary, he loves to make a mistake because that teaches him what not to do. It teaches him how to move forward in a more positive direction. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about making mistakes, or don't worry about others making mistakes. Going back to that Empress energy, that can be very parental. So you may be worried about your children making mistakes, but you want to very much be aware that they learn so much through those mistakes. And there's this problem that arises where if you shelter them and you don't allow them to make mistakes, they will still make mistakes, but it'll be in a much more dire situation. So it's better for them to make mistakes when it's a little bit lower stakes and it's easier for them to recover, and instead of being in a situation where there's very little chance of recovery, right? So give them a safe opportunity to fail early on in a safe way. But if this is not about children or your kids or something like that, and this is about you, don't be afraid to jump in and try it, to do it, get things done. Don't sit there and focus on all the things that could go wrong. Focus on what could go right, What's going on around you is the sun. This is your environment. So there is an openness. There is a lot of bright opportunity, knowledge, that kind of thing. And this is liable to drive things forward pretty quickly. When this is showing up in your environment, there's an optimism for the future. There's somebody who is, or many people who are, they're really going forward. They're really happy, bouncing around, and kind of maybe even restless a little bit, ready to get moving. So this is going to be a wonderful energy for you to tap into. Let this infect you. The environment is always infectious. It rubs off on you. Everybody can be influenced by their environment, and thinking that you can't be is just an indication that you're probably more influenceable. So, this is a great energy for you to be tapped into and to, perhaps ride along with this. Whoever is feeling like things could turn out great, this optimism, ride along with them and adopt that mindset. Now, what is in your fears card here is this Five of Wands. So this is, a struggle of willpower. This is, you want it one way, they want it another way, and you're not, you're afraid of that. You don't want that. You want there to be a sort of meeting of the minds. You want people to be on the same page. You don't want to be fighting others to get what you want done. And this could be, talking about the external environment. You don't want to have certain hopes and dreams for somebody and the world around you has a different plan. You don't want to have to fight people for what you know is right or what you the direction that you want to go. That's the general idea. You're kind of straying away from this idea of having to struggle, and you're wanting something that's a little bit more cohesive and go with the flow, right? But what you have in your overall message or the final outcome of this is the Five of Cups. So, and again, when you're kind of, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, if you're a regular on this channel, but whenever I'm pointing toward the future, I'm never going to tell you that the future is absolutely set in stone, because to do that would be to take away that power from you and to assert essentially that I control your destiny. And I don't control your destiny. You do. You have the power over your own destiny. So if I can do anything with the future, it is I can tell you how things are going. But you always have the power to change those things if you don't like the direction things are going. Now, with that said, what this says here in the Five of Cups is that you end up with this sort of mentality of the glass is half empty, right? So Five of Cups, there's 3 cups that are knocked over here, and this figure is focusing more on what's going wrong than what's going right. So you really want to get away from that type of an energy. The way through this situation is to, instead of focusing on the things that you're losing, again, if this goes back to a parental situation and you think, oh, I'm losing my little baby, don't think of it that way. Think of what you're gaining. Think of what all is happening here. Think back to your childhood and how much you wanted to develop and become an adult and everything, and how wonderful that is. And be there for that instead of clinging to all these things that you might view as past or lost. Instead of focusing on those negative things, the key to this really is there is no end to what could have gone better, right? Things always could have gone better. You can always live your life in regret. But why do that? Because if you can always live your life in regret, then on the contrary, you can always live your life grateful and moving forward and doing what you can with what you have, instead of being hung up on the past and failures and loss and things like that. So focus on the more positive aspect of what you have to help you through these transitions. And that will make you a lot happier and more fulfilled in life. Okay, so that's about it for this reading for this month. Again, please leave me some comments if you have any questions, would like additional clarification. And if you are a subscriber to the channel, I would be happy to draw some additional cards and make this a little bit more personalized to you. So thank you very much for watching, and check in tomorrow for the next daily reading. And until then, I'll see you next time.